Hello, my name is James P. Moore. I'm the president of 4L Incorporated. I've been in the energy industry for over 30 years, and for many, I'm considered one of the best in the world at what I do. The other day, I came across a quote from someone of prominence who said, "I think generally people don't realize how much energy is reaching us from the sun. It's roughly a gigawatt per square kilometer." Well, the thought came to mind was 1 square kilometer has 1 million square meters. So they were saying that somehow the energy from the sun on a nice day is the equivalent of 1,000 1 megawatt wind turbines operating in full power, somehow fitting into 1 square kilometer, generating 1 gigawatt of energy. Now, the world took their comment at face value, and the world tends to make decisions based on quotes like this, but I think that the quote needs some clarification. It's important for anyone thinking about solar energy. To begin, 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters long. A square kilometer is 1,000 meters on each side. For perspective, you can see that large factory up in the left-hand corner. We also need to begin with one match, the kind you use to light a candle, and something called a BTU, which is a British thermal unit. A BTU is the measure of the heat content of fuels or energy source. One match in this case. It is the heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of liquid water 1 degree Fahrenheit. How much is 1 pound of liquid water, you ask? Well, you can see it there in the cup sitting on that weigh scale. When people consider solar energy, most often it's thought of in terms of electricity. There are, however, extensive installations of what they call solar thermal systems that produce hot water from the sun. Above and to the right are 2 Viessmann Photosol solar hot water collectors. They are among the very best in the industry. And whereas solar electric is normally described in terms of watts per square meter, solar thermal is expressed in terms of BTU per hour per square foot, as seen here. In fact, 317 BTU per hour and 1,000 watts describe the same energy using different units. But what is missing after the 1,000 watts per square meter is the per hour. It makes all the difference. There are 2 types of solar panels shown here. One produces electricity from sunlight, and the other produces hot water. Electric panels are rated in terms of watts per square meter. Hot water panels in BTU per square foot per hour. Watts and BTU are 2 different ways of describing the amount of solar energy hitting the surface. One's metric, and the other is imperial. In the latitudes of North America, the typical global solar radiation under optimum conditions, that is, clear, cloudless sky, midday, height of summer, that amounts to a maximum of 317 BTU per square foot per hour, 317 matches an hour. And that's the equivalent of 1,000 watts per square meter. Now, this is important. At the end of the BTU per square foot is per hour, 1 hour. What is missing at the end of the 1,000 watts per square meter is the time period, 1 hour. Since they are equivalent, we can do some quick math to determine how many BTU, or how many matches, are in 1 square meter. See, there are 10.8 square feet in 1 square meter. That's the equivalent of 317 BTU times 10.8 square feet equals 3,423.6 matches per square meter in 1 hour. 1 square kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters times 1,000 meters, which is 1 million square meters. Given that the amount of energy striking 1 square meter is 3,423.6 matches, there is the equivalent of 3,423,600,000 matches worth of energy striking the surface of 1 square kilometer on a perfectly clear day at noon on June 21st over a period of 1 hour. Given that there are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Thus, the number of matches per second is 951,000 in that 1 square kilometer. With 1 million square meters, it's the equivalent solar energy of just 0.95 of a match per square meter per second. It's just slightly less than 1 match per second. That's all there is. When it comes to solar energy, there is a conversion efficiency to be considered. Of the amount of energy that strikes the surface of the solar panel, only a portion is converted into electricity. Now, according to the experts at the National Research Energy Lab, NREL, the average efficiency of solar electric panels that are affordable is approximately 15%. Considering the sun, of course it gets dark every day, but what is most important when it comes to energy production is found in the pictures and the graphs. There is very little energy to harness in the early morning and in the evening. Also, there is a considerable reduction in the amount of solar energy as the seasons change to and through winter. The total effects are described by what is called peak sun hours. In Canada, the number of peak sun hours is only about 3.3 hours per day on average for the year. That's 3.3 hours per 24-hour period. In New Mexico, it's 28%. If we average the two to keep it simple, the average is 20%. So just 20% of effective solar energy per day per 24-hour period. We also have to consider the weather, clouds, rain, and in our part of the world, snow. Where I live in Ontario, Canada, you can see the graph here that even in the sunniest months, July and June, 1/3 of the days are cloudy. On average, weather affects the amount of energy by 50%. So to begin with, we had that 15% efficiency, and then 20% of effective solar that we can harness per day is further reduced now 50% due to weather. Now, solar panels get dirty and they're hardly ever cleaned. Research conducted by Boston University and NREL indicates that an average reduction of 25% occurs because of dirty solar panels. So that 15% efficiency we started with, and then the 20% peak solar hours and 50% due to weather, is now further reduced by 25% due to dirt. Every electronic device has what are called system losses. Electrical energy is transformed into heat during operation of the solar electric system. As you will see here, the NREL research indicates an 11.5% reduction in system efficiency due to these losses. Considering all the constraints that affect solar electric energy production, we find that the average electric conversion efficiency is given by multiplying all of them together. For this example, the result is just 1.125% per hour on average annually. Instead of 3,423,600,000 matches, it is reduced to just 1.125% of that, or 38,515,500 matches per hour. Not 1 gigawatt, not 1 billion watts. Recalling that we started with 3,423,600,000 matches per hour, which is 951,000 matches per second over an area of 1 million square meters, the energy was 0.95 matches per square meter at 100% solar conversion efficiency. However, given all that we have considered, it is reduced to annual hourly efficiency of 1.125% of that number, or 0.0107 matches per second. That is 0.64 of a match per minute, or just the equivalent of 38.5 matches per hour being converted into electricity per square meter. That's approximately 0.64 of a match per minute on average per square meter. That's all. On this page, we consider the cost of building a 1 gigawatt solar energy system. Again, from the NREL, their research indicates $1.71 per watt installed inclusive of battery storage. But know that there are no maintenance or operational costs and taxes, etc. But it gets complicated. What if the gigawatt and the 1 acre comment? On the one hand, there is a cost per acre provided for costing this, but knowing what we know now, see, the cost per acre in Canada is certainly different in other parts of the world. And everything that we've highlighted here varies, some for the better, some for the worse. And importantly, the list of constraints expands. What if it was limited to just 1 square kilometer? Perhaps $170 million might cover the cost. The approximate return on investment would be in excess of 20 years, and only then would be considered if there were substantial government incentives and guaranteed power purchase agreements to make investors interested, as they would never do otherwise. These subsidies and PPAs, the power purchase agreements, are called tax dollars, your tax dollars, other people's money that are necessary to support a business that would otherwise never be considered. What if it was designed around a solar system that would provide 1 gigawatt of power under the perfect condition scenario? That cost would be in the $1.7 billion range. And then what would it cost, and how big of a solar system is required to provide 1 gigawatt continuous output using panels and batteries? Think about it. Now I want you to consider something completely different, something called the Stingray Wind Energy System. It's been in development for 40 years and is now going global in 2023. It is designed to produce 5 kilowatts of energy inclusive of all of the above, including wind availability, 24/365 operation, seasonal changes, weather, electronic efficiencies, etc. The target installed cost is just $10,000 US. To produce the same amount of energy from stingrays would require 2,250 stingrays at $10,000 each, for a total investment cost of $22,500,000. Compared to a 1 gigawatt solar energy system that produces the same hourly energy output annually, the Stingray investment is only 1.3% of the solar system and provides an ROI that is over 75 times the return from an equivalent solar system. Moreover, if the $1.7 billion above was invested in stingrays, the energy output would be 75 times greater than the solar system. I'd like to thank you all for watching and listening to this brief presentation, and I hope that it brings some clarity as to the actual efficiencies of solar technology and the financial challenges that are a reality. I would also like to leave you with one final consideration. Wind energy comes from the sun. It is solar energy in action. The Stingray Wind Energy System is not only the most efficient wind energy system ever created, it is by far the most cost-effective solar energy conversion system ever developed. For more information on the Stingray Wind Energy System, please visit us at www.jamespmore.com. Thank you so much, and take care.